6 months down, it's a different guy. Yeah.
So would you say that
He goes by the name of Berat Güçlü.
Focus, Berat! Berat, get his up! Oh, that's it! Keep going!
I did mention in the video that you did have a yamuk leg. How did you recover from the ACL injury, bro?
The yamuk leg, to be honest, I did my rehab, man. Like I said, that amazing team I got. I had an amazing physio, right by my side, named Semi Toughline. # shout out to the physio health, the man himself on Instagram. You can look him up as Semi Toughline. Yeah, he helped me out with my rehab. We started off small, I started off not being able to walk, actually.
Right, it switched off.
She gotta get on this rocket. I don't give a fuck about her mileage. And her grandma related to the whinings. Ooh, that's the shit that I like. You a church girl, but you like Christ.
So whenever you have back pain, you always got to treat the hips and the glutes. Does that refer down into your leg?
yeah?
Yeah. So how?
Inside of my
Yeah. How cool is that? I'm pressing his butt, and he's feeling it refer into the inside of his thigh down into his knee, which is one of my favorite aspects of my job. That is lit. And I can feel that twitching, like the muscle twitching and just giving out. And then we do a bit of an active release. So I grab his leg and I rotate and stretch his glute while I get my elbow onto it. How's that feel, better?
Yeah.
It's good, huh? Yeah. Now this looks tiring, but it's actually not very tiring. When you use your body weight properly, I just lean into it, and then you can do this, for hours and hours and hours if you're a physio.
Drugs and the joke, my nigga, I'm just telling you. Manager got you on the shelf and he's selling. They wanna see me do my thing in these brand new VV chains. Don't disrespect me and my game. T-shirt full of blood stains. Already had during your name, now your best friend got a t-shirt, your name, dig that. Hey, by swerving your lane, AK hit a nigga in the stomach, knock off 6-pack. Like soon as it hit a click clack, that's the end of real rap, that's the end of the bullshit. I got a full clip, walk out and use it. Walk right past your bitch and had to say excuse me. I thought she was a groupie, couldn't find out, bitch pulled up around with a goofy. That was you. You wasn't on that couch with me and you. I had bitches in the wife shaking booty. Had them in the parking lot showing coochie. Had them in the bathroom.
No, that was like level 4.
Oh, beautiful.
But that was 4 reps. You need to build that to be able to do 20.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the thing. You're such a good grappler already with a weak core. Imagine you had a really strong core incorporated with your skills.
Who are you and what do you do here?
I'm Semi Toughline. I'm a physiotherapist. I've been a physio for 4 years, and this is my home clinic that I built in COVID, and I started servicing basically the northern suburbs, and it's been going pretty well since. It's actually picked up quite quickly and it's become quite busy. Not my surprise, but I didn't think it would get this busy this quickly.
What made you become a physio?
I like helping people, I guess. And to be honest, I thought it was cool. Like I seen a physio when I was younger, like strapping some guy's knee and he was talking really fancy. And I thought, far out, that's what I want to do.
What are your goals as a physio and as a person?
They changed a little bit in terms of physio. When I was a young physio, I thought, I want to be like an A-League physio and I want to work with elite sports, until you kind of see that, not the dark side of that, but kind of how much you have to slave yourself away and how much time you have to give without much reward. So the subculture behind it wasn't something I was kind of into. And I started getting a lot more reward from treating my mates, treating people in the community, treating fighters. I really like to treat fighters, so I kind of pulled back away from that, elite soccer team, footy team environment. And now I treat a lot of fighters. And it's good, you get that one-on-one interaction, You're kind of emotionally invested. You want the guys to do really well.
You mentioned off camera about the NDIS. How did you come about that goal or that dream?
Like most things in life, it kind of came to me through my patients. My patients are amazing. So I have a patient who works at the NDIS that I was treating for a shoulder injury, and he really liked the service, and he was like, man, I work at the NDIS, do you see NDIS patients? And I was like, no, I don't. And he's like, you really should, like you're really good, you really like it. And I'm like, yeah, I would. So he got me onto a guy who got me onto how to do the paperwork, and it's a very long process. It can take up to a year to become NDIS registered. But yeah, it was basically a patient of mine who was like, man, you're really good. I reckon, you should start seeing NDIS patients. I can refer patients to you, because we don't have any really good, physios that work in NDIS really needing it. And I was like, yeah, man, let's do it.
Do you have any regrets about being a physio?
No, I love what I do. I'm always raving on about how I love what I do.
Oh, beautiful.
Helps with the long hours. Love what you do.
Now talking about the long hours. How long have you known Berat?
I have known Berat for a little while over a year. I met Berat after he had his knee reconstruction for an ACL tear, I think last year or the year before. And he had already had his surgery and he was looking for someone to help him do his rehab so he can confidently return to Jiu-Jitsu. That's when I met Berat. It was just before our lockdown, and then yeah, things got locked down and got a bit crazy. So we went through that emotional roller coaster together.
How did you come into contact with Berat? Did he reach out to you? Did you reach out to him?
Yes, I can't remember who gave Berat my details, but he reached out to me in a really nice way and he said, look, you know, brother, I really want to do my rehab. I heard you're good, like how can we do this? And then yeah, we just teed it up from there. And Berat actually is one of my, I like to call it like my founding patients. When this place was just a carport and there was just a treatment bed and nothing else and it was cold and desolate, Berat was one of the patients that still would frequently see me, but now it's a much more clinical environment. So he was there from the ground floor. Like, you know those investors in Apple, and it was worth like 15 cents a share, and now it's worth like, you know, a couple thousand a share. Berat invested then, and then now, you know, we've got this clinic, and I love it.
That's beautiful. He's made the smart move. How would you rate Berat's recovery from his injury, from his ACL injury?
Berat did a very, very good rehab. He had a few weeks where he was slack with his training, but that's actually the course of rehab can be like that. You know, you have your good weeks, you have your bad, but for the most part, Berat was really good. I did crack it at him a few times for not doing his exercises. Like, he's not, and all of my patients will probably tell you this, like I crack it when people don't do my exercises, because that's essentially what gets him better. And Berat really understood the nature of his injury and that it was a long-term, you know, building a base of strength around his knee and hips. And he's done that and he's got back to competing full, unrestricted, you know, back like he was. And I feel like he feels confident in his knee, which is a major thing for Berat's injury. People have an ACL injury and they lose a lot of confidence in their knee. You know, like they don't trust it, they think it's going to go, they don't want to do certain things. To make that, get that trust back when you put in the work, it's a lot easier. Because you know you put in the work, so you're like, I trust my knee. I've been doing the squats, I've been doing all the things. And we made some videos of Berat doing a single leg squat off a chair in his first week, and we compared it to, you know, 6 months down, it's a different guy. Yeah.
So would you say that Berat excelled with his physio, with his training, with his mental part of it, all around his recovery? Would you say that he excelled in it?
Yes, I do, and it's most evident when I compare Berat to other patients I've seen in the past post ACL reco, where the moment their knee kind of feels okay, they'll give up on rehab. And then they'll come to me with, my knee feels sore or a second ACL rupture, with the question, but I'm not sure why. And then I can tell them, well, I know why, because you didn't hit those landmarks that you need to hit after having an ACL surgery, which the surgeon tells you, you need to do your rehab, right? It's a two-part. You get the surgery, which puts your ACL back together. That's 50%. The other 50% is on you. What did you do after the reco? Yeah, and Berat put in the other 50%.
From your clinical experiences with Berat, what would you say about him as a person, as an athlete, and as a patient?
Berat makes me laugh. Berat's a funny guy. Berat's a funny guy, and you know what? When I first met him, you'd see little glimpses of that athletic mentality, but it was like a flash and then it was gone. I was like, ooh, yeah, he's got it somewhere in there. But what I've noticed, especially lately in Berat, and I always say this, like, if you have to pick one thing to become successful at anything, discipline. If you've got discipline, that's the overarching discipline. You want to become a good grappler, well, you're disciplined, so you practice every day, so you become a good grappler. You want to be successful and have a lot of money, well, you're disciplined, so you show up to work, you try really hard every day. Discipline, you want to be good with your faith, right? You pray every day, you stay close. So as Berat got more disciplined, as evident by his huge weight loss since I met him, as he got more disciplined, that athletic savagery, that mentality's really blossomed. So now he's got more of that compared to when I first met him, where it was like a little glimmer. Now he's probably, I reckon he's dug into like 25 to 30% of his potential. I think he's still got a lot more in there to give.
Just to interject, we've seen just before when he was on the table how you said that he applies his fighting mentality to everything in life. I mean, just in recovery,
Yes.
like he saw recovery as a fight, one round at a time, one movement at a time. Just keep going, keep going. It's a fight. You keep going like that. I think that was evident in what we've just seen before.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you know what? That's right. He treats a lot of obstacles in his life like a fight. So yeah, it's not one round. You can lose the first round, but you can win the fight. And I actually really like that metaphor. That's how life goes sometimes. That's how rehab goes sometimes. The first 3 weeks might be really, really shit, and you don't get far. But then, you know what? Almost everyone improves, and almost everyone makes a full recovery, right? In some instances they don't, but it's just like that. Look, the first 2 rounds might not go your way. You know what? You might have the first 3 rounds, of your rehab where everything's going fantastic, and then you plateau, and then things don't improve for 2-3 weeks. That happens, man. Everyone's different, and just like every fight goes differently. So yeah, Berat applies that to his training. He applies that to his rehab, and that's a big factor in why he's improved so much. Yeah.
That's good to hear. And finally, can you tell the audience what area do you operate out of and where to reach you for physiotherapy?
Awesome. So I work full-time at another clinic in Footscray called Physio Health. So for patients that are down that end of town, I tell them, look, just come down and see me there. Just call up and make an appointment. But for patients in the north, so Meadow Heights, Roxburgh Park, northern suburbs, it's a lot closer and easier for them to visit my home clinic, which is basically what you see here. So I've got a full rehab setup and a bit of a boxing setup too. I'll do like treating fighters and MMA guys. So you can reach me through Instagram, send me Toughlane. You can reach my phone, my business phone number, and you can also book online. There's an online booking link. Yeah, that's it. So I'm a pretty friendly guy. You can just approach me. I'm like, hey man, what's happening? So it's like a mix between professional and, hey man, how are you? So you get the professional service of a physio, but also you feel like you're seeing a mate.